Hello,
Hello, and
and
welcome
welcome to
to
Locked
Locked
In
In
with
with
the
the
Wilsons.
Wilsons. If you're new to our channel, thank you for watching.
And if you've watched us before, welcome back. So, before we get started, we're going to ask you to do us a huge favor and subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. And since you're watching this video, go ahead and like it.
Also, please leave a comment below and share this video out to everyone you know.
You got it.
As you can see in the title of this video, we're going to be discussing our overall experiences on Virgin Voyages Scarlet Lady. We're going to give you some helpful tips that helped us along the way. And we have notes so that we don't miss anything, so we can talk about the things that we did miss in our videos.
So we're also going to talk about things that we've had in comments and things that we've had in conversations with people since the cruise, or even leading up to the cruise when we told them we were going on the Virgin cruise, and anything that we've heard of since then.
So let's get into it. If you see us looking down, we do have our phone and our iPad with some notes on it because we're going to try our best not to miss any topics that we didn't really go into detail and cover in our videos.
So first thing that we're going to talk about is some things that we saw that were major differences with Virgin and other cruise lines.
So, for instance, the bathroom. There were some things that we saw that we didn't know or expect, like not having washcloths.
Yep.
For us, when we travel, we do take our washcloths with us, but I think that's something that you need to know ahead of time if you are packing and you want to know what you need to bring.
One thing that I will point out is Virgin is not a American cruise line. The ships are European.
European, yeah.
So some things are different on the ship, but not in a bad way. But the washcloths, that was a big thing. Luckily, she'll talk about it later. We did have a little insight into that prior to getting on the ship.
Yeah, well, let's go ahead and talk about that now.
Okay.
That's a major helpful tip for us that helped us actually enjoy the cruise more and prepared us for the cruise line, because at the time that we cruised, there wasn't a lot of information out there. We did cruise in the inaugural season, not when the ship first came out, but it was still the inaugural season. So there was not a lot of information out that was readily available to help you prepare for Virgin Voyages. And that helpful tip for us was having a travel agent. We did book our cruise through a travel agent. And you want to tell them who we booked through?
Yeah, a Rich and Jazzy Life. Richard and Jasmine, which we'll have their information linked below, so you can go in there and use them as a travel agent if you want to for your cruises.
Yeah, and they also have lots of videos out there because they have cruised with them multiple times. So we found that to be very helpful when we got on the cruise, because they prepared us by telling us what to expect as far as the experiences, the entertainment, how to book our restaurants. What are some other things that you can remember?
Washcloths, showers.
Yeah, they did tell us about the washcloths. Yeah.
Speaking of showers, that's another thing. It's seems to be a big deal, especially with people of color, the rain shower. I don't know if that's a big deal or not, but it seems to be a big deal is the rain shower on the ship. Heard a lot of people say they didn't necessarily like it for getting their hair wet.
Well, and I think the biggest thing is that people didn't expect it to be set up like that. So by not knowing that ahead of time, yeah, you can be caught off guard because you don't bring your shower cap with you if you don't expect that. So not only was it the rain shower head, it was there was another way to shower, and
there was a wand in there you could use without using the rain shower. So they did have that bit covered. But like I said, who goes on a cruise or vacation and not get their hair done? So having a rain shower is your only means. I think that would have been terrible if that would have been the only way to wash your body off with a shower. Yeah,
and then one other problem that we ran into with that is the positioning of the shower wand. So you do have to be careful when you turn the shower wand.
Before you turn the shower on, go in there and move the shower head around so it doesn't shoot straight at you or out into the bathroom.
Yeah, because that happened to us a couple of times. So let's see, what else did we notice that was
We were
different?
talking about the bathroom.
Oh yeah, the
That's
size.
the
Let's talk
size
about
of
the
the
size. The
bathroom.
big issue was the size. It is a very small bathroom.
I think it might be smaller than other cruise ships.
I think so too.
But it didn't have a shower. Didn't have a shower curtain on it though. That was a good
Yeah,
thing.
that was a good thing. That was very nice to have the glass door. So I mean, it's a cruise ship, so you kind of expect it to be small anyway, but it was a little smaller than we expected. So you know, it didn't stop us from having a good time.
Oh, definitely
No.
not. The other thing about Virgin, which was different, which I've seen on a couple other cruises since Virgin, is for traditional or historic cruisers, the lack of a paper itinerary. That might be a big hindrance for some people, but you have to make sure you utilize the phone app and look at the video screens that are throughout the ship to let you know what's going on. So you don't wake up in the morning with a note slitting under your door letting you know what to expect for the next day. You've got to pay attention.
Yeah. So, just to go a little more in depth about that, the screens, like on every floor, you're going to have like a big screen where you would have like the ship layout normally on other crews. On that screen, you will see the itinerary for the day. So any floor you go on throughout the ship, you're going to see those screens and they'll give you the itinerary, the breakdown of what's going on throughout the day. So you do have ways of knowing what's going to happen.
Yeah, there are screens all over the ship as
Yeah.
far as finding out information.
Yeah. The muster drill. Let's talk about the muster drill.
Go ahead.
That was different.
You almost realize you're not watching a muster drill.
Yeah. You do have a option of watching the muster drill in your room, in your cabin. So it is a very different muster drill. It is not someone just standing there showing you how to put on the life vest and like the stewardess on the plane. No, it's not that.
It is straight up rock and roll, almost MTV style video.
Yeah, it's different. But it helps you get into it and get into the mood of what the ship is going to be like for the duration of the sail.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I see on here we have sail away and debarkation times.
So now the thing about Virgin Voyages is they sail out a little bit later than other cruise lines. So for instance, now we don't necessarily do this or prefer to do this. Yeah. But if you are in a situation where you need to fly in the day of, just know that their ships don't leave out until later, about 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening. So you don't have to be in a rush or a hurry. You can get an early morning flight, get there in plenty of time, and still have time to get on the ship with. With the airline,
with these airline
today, I can't say
their times.
I don't advise it, but I'm just saying if you need to, then you do have that option.
Yep.
Now, as far as the debarkation, they don't rush you to get off the ship.
No.
We stayed on till about. Maybe we stayed on a little bit later when we got off. It wasn't a hurry. I think the latest that they'll let you get off is maybe about 10 or 10:30. That may not be the case all the time, but it was for us. We weren't in a hurry. So
the other thing, since we're talking about debarkation, sailaways, embarkations, I think that was one thing that I did love about Virgin, the port times.
Oh, yeah.
We were at some ports and off the ship at 7 in the morning, and not to be back on the ship until 8 that night.
Yeah.
So that was cool. Rather than some ships, they don't let you off until about 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, but still want you back at 4. I thought we had enough time to truly enjoy wherever we went on Virgin.
Yeah. That was a good thing to not be rushed.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was pretty much at every port. We weren't rushed. So the next thing we're going to talk about is
the photographer.
They don't have a photographer on board. Now that can be good or bad depending on what your sailing style is like.
Well, I will say they do have photographers on board, but it's not like others where you can't take a picture. They actually took your picture, and before they took the picture, they asked if you wanted them to take a picture on your cell phone. So you actually had your picture, whether you bought the pictures from the ship or not. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I think that was the Scarlet Night. That was
Yeah.
on Scarlet Night. Yeah, they actually had it set up like a photo booth, and you put your email address in, and it instantly sent you the picture that you took while you were dressed up on Scarlet Night, like out of a photo booth. So yeah, that was neat.
Yep, we'll put our picture in the video so you can see it.
Yeah. Now, and the reason I say it could be good or not, or not, is because if you enjoy dressing up or whatever, taking pictures on your traditional cruises, and you look forward to that, then you might not, that may not be for you. You may not like that about the cruise ship. However, the other side to that is the layout of the ship, and we can go in and talk about the aesthetics
Oh yeah,
of the ship.
We'll talk about it in the ship
and the ship decor.
The ship decor. But we wanted to move into the food first.
Oh, well, we can go move into the food. Let's talk about the food.
Yeah. So the restaurants, what I loved about Virgin is all the restaurants were a part of your sailing fare or your ticket. I know if you sail by yourself, sailed with a significant other, or especially if you sailed with kids and you want to go to a specific restaurant, it's usually let's figure out which one restaurant we'll go to because of the specialty dining fee. But with Virgin, all the restaurants were included in the cost of the ticket. So that was the coolest thing in the world. The meals were Michelin and 5-star level meals. I think they actually call them Michelin and 5-star meals on their website. So that was, I really enjoyed those meals on there. We did, and you look at our other videos, Test Kitchen, they were very small portions, 6-course meal, but I actually told her that we should schedule or we need to go ahead and book another restaurant after we finish Test Kitchen because of the small portions. And we walked away from there full.
Yeah.
So
it looked like small portions, but when we did the pairing, we did the cocktail pairing. So with the pairing and all the portions that you get, you are definitely full by the time you finish there. And you may or may not need to go eat anything after. We didn't need anything else to eat afterward. Afterwards, we were definitely full and pleased.
And we didn't talk about it on our videos, but those pairings, you either have a wine, a cocktail, or a beer.
Beer, yeah.
That you can select for each course of the meal. And those were not, tiny tasters. Those were actual drinks. And they were good drinks.
Yeah, they were very good. Some of them I could drink. I couldn't drink them all. I think the one with the bourbon, I couldn't. But they were very, very well paired with the meal.
And you felt a little wobbly after you got up from them. But we actually ate at Extra Virgin, which is an Italian restaurant, Pink Agave, which is a Mexican restaurant, The Wake, Steakhouse, Razzle Dazzle, which was a vegan-inspired restaurant. Where else do we eat?
There were other eateries around that we, had, like the ice cream and the pizza. But what I want to know, and we may have differences of opinions on this, so we're going to actually get into this and talk about it. So since we're talking about the food, what was your opinion on the Wake?
The Wake?
Yes.
The Wake?
Which is a steakhouse, let me say that.
What I will say is there was no shortage of food. Yeah. And that was at every restaurant. Yeah. If you told them, you wanted this, but wanted to taste that, sometimes they brought, as you can see in our video from Pink Agave, the Mexican restaurant, our table was full of food that they just brought out. But the Wake, I had better steak at Pink Agave, and I had a better steak at Extra Virgin. If you've ever been to, was it Fogo de Chão and Texas de Brazil, that was kind of the vibe that I got from the Wake, kind of like that Brazilian or Argentinian steakhouse vibe, but it wasn't just, servers coming around carving the meat off, but it was all kinds of meat. Now, the lamb chops were good.
And I actually got the herb roasted chicken. And when I say that was the best chicken which I didn't expect because we were at the steakhouse.
Yeah.
So that was a surprise. And I think I let you taste my chicken. I'm like, this chicken was so moist and seasoned so well. It was very good. And all of the sides were very good.
Yeah, and I will have to say, surprisingly, the best thing that I ate at the wake was the roasted garlic.
Yeah.
That was a full bulb of garlic, and it was roasted, seasoned. It was great.
Yeah, it was.
But we were also rushed at the wake because that was Scarlet Night, and we waited.
The wait time.
That was the longest wait.
Yeah, that was the
on the
longest
ship.
Wait time.
We were trying to get to the Scarlet Sail Away party and Scarlet Night, and I think we sat for about 45 minutes waiting on our food. We immediately went to the table, but getting served took a while that night.
Yeah, it was a lot of people in there that night, so it was. I think everybody was trying to eat early to try to get to Scarlet Night. So that was the only downside to it, other than the steak.
Yeah, and I will say that could have had something to do with it because I was anticipating getting to something else. But I definitely say my steak at Pink Agave and my steak at Extra Virgin were hands down better than the steak at the Wake, which is the steakhouse on the restaurant. I mean, on the cruise.
On the cruise, yeah.
You want to go into the other restaurants?
Yeah, we can talk about a little bit more about Razzle Dazzle, because of the vegan option, which I did choose the vegan option. I got the actual Impossible Burger, and it was delicious. It took me a while to put it all together because it was huge and it had so many different toppings on it.
Oh, your vegan-A's?
Yeah, my vegan-A's is good, and it had avocados on it. Like I said in the video, I like avocados. He doesn't, so I knew he wasn't going to taste my Impossible Burger. So that was, it was really good. It actually had a smoky taste, like somebody had put it on the grill and cooked it on the grill. So I guess that gave it the flavor of the burger flavor, because it was good.
If you saw that video and that chicken sandwich, if you ever get a chance to get on Virgin, go to Razzle Dazzle and get that chicken sandwich with the pink aioli sauce, the black bun. That was probably the best chicken sandwich I've ever had in my life.
Yeah. Now, the desserts were great as well. Oh, by the way, we did eat at Razzle Dazzle for brunch.
Yeah.
So that was our, we ate there for brunch.
And we had the milk and cookies.
And those, and I don't know if you can tell in the picture on the video, but the milk, I mean, the cookies were huge.
Yeah. That was, matcha cookie.
Matcha white macadamia.
Oatmeal raisin.
No, it was chocolate something. I can't remember the exact names.
Oh, red velvet.
And red velvet.
Yeah, the cookies were good.
They were very good. And what was it that you had for dessert?
I had the milk and cookies. You had that chocolate cake, chocolate cheesecake.
Chocolate cheesecake. Yeah, the desserts were great. And I did see a lot of people with the churros, the rainbow churros, and everybody talked about how good that was. So that's just some little tips about eating brunch at Razzle Dazzle.
Now, one thing that we always go back and forth on, depending on the cruise line, whether you have to pay for it by the room, by the person, by the sailor, the drink package on Virgin. So the drink package on Virgin, we did $300, but because we were also a part of the initial sailing on Virgin.
It's not a drink package.
Well, yeah.
It's a bar tab.
Yeah, your bar tab. But because we were part of the initial inaugural season of that ship, we're part of what they call the Sea Blazer program. So we had an additional, $125 added to our bar tab. So it gave us $425.
Yeah.
We drank on that ship because champagne was being handed out on the ship. People were buying drinks, different things. We drank every day, and we still didn't. There was no need for us to feel like we had to throttle our drinking or whatever. So
we actually ended up going to some of the shops and using some of our bar tabs in the shops to buy souvenirs like T-shirts and things like that. So that's how much we had left on our bar tab on the last night.
So I don't know if they're gonna do it for, was it Valiant Lady that's coming out?
It's already out.
Already out, but I don't know if it's considered the inaugural season of Valiant Lady where you can get into the Sea Blazer program.
They have different level. They have different programs now.
The Anchor.
But you can look into that. It's all on their website, and they talk about the different programs. So what we're referring to is that because we're Sea Blazers and we sail during the inaugural season, we get these perks
every
time we cruise. So every time we cruise with Virgin, if we buy $300 bar, the $300 is the typical bar tab is the starting. That's what you start with, is $300 on your bar tab, and either one of us can use the same bar tab.
Yep.
And we can buy anybody else a drink on our bar tab. So that's the difference between Virgin and other cruises. Some people like that, some people don't. For us, it worked out just fine because our cruise was actually 5 days, 4 nights.
Yep.
And so it was more than enough for us, and we had our share of drinks.
Yep.
we
didn't spare ourselves. That $425 was together.
Yes.
It wasn't $425 here and then $425 there. Because like I said, I've seen some cruises where if I wanted to buy a drink package, because she's in the room with me, she has to buy the drink package, which I think is one of the dumbest rules ever, to have it set up like that. I mean, if you don't drink,
it doesn't.
why
that's
buy
what I say. It doesn't benefit us on a traditional cruise because I may have 3 drinks a day. It just doesn't benefit us. I don't drink enough to drink that limit that they have on other cruises, or to pay that much. Whereas I can bring my bottle of wine on, because that's typically what I drink anyway, is wine. So I can bring my 2 bottles of wine and I'm just fine. Even on a 7-day cruise, that does just fine for me. So it doesn't benefit us to buy drink packages on cruises. But for Virgin, it works just fine. So,
and you can still bring your wine on Virgin.
And very true. Good tip. So let's see.
So I had it written down to where I wanted to rank the restaurants that we ate at. I actually had Extra Virgin, the Italian restaurant, first. Pink Agave, the Mexican restaurant, second. Razzle Dazzle, which was the vegan place. The Test Kitchen, and the Wake, in that order. Like I said, there were other restaurants on board that you can eat at, pizza spots and whatnot, but for the actual restaurants that we ate at, that's why I ranked them, because you also had bento boxes that you could pick up. You had the
galley. We didn't talk about
the galley with all the breakfast foods and whatnot. And you saw in our video where we had the breakfast room service.
Yeah. Well,
if you had to rank them?
Oh, no. Okay, I'll say my ranking. My ranking would be a little different. I actually would rank it as Pink Agave, Extra Virgin, and then I'm going to say Test Kitchen, because even though people tell you what to expect from Test Kitchen, I don't think you fully get it unless you're there.
Oh, yeah.
And it is a pleasant surprise, because to be honest with you, because I'm kind of a texture person, and I didn't think I was going to be able to eat at Test Kitchen when I saw a couple of videos with the things that were on the menu. So I really didn't think I was going to enjoy the Test Kitchen. So it was a pleasant surprise for me.
Even the egg?
I still couldn't quite get past the texture of egg yolk. It's just
the coagulated egg at, was it 30 degrees? I don't care how smoky it is,
it's still an egg yolk.
It was fully cooked.
Okay, in my mind.
So we done with food?
No, I didn't finish my ranking. And Razzle Dazzle would be Razzle Dazzle and Extra Virgin are kind of, but I'm gonna say Razzle Dazzle and then the Wake.
So if we ever go on Virgin again, we'll have to look at the Wake, because that was last on both of our rankings. Yeah. So
although other videos have said try the Wake for brunch, so I think I'm not gonna say when we go on Virgin again, I want to try the Wake.
Neither one of us said Gun Bay, which is the Korean hibachi spot, which she did get a piece of good advice on.
Oh yeah,
Gun Bay.
Yeah, and that advice is, so Now let me say this. This was our first time cruising without our kids, and without family, family members. So if you're, and I'm going to say, if I would say, even if you're cruising alone, if you're solo cruising or if you're cruising as a couple, if you're on the cruise and you still want to mingle and meet people and get to know people, I would suggest probably eating at Gung Bay early on. I don't know if I would say your very first night, but by your second night on your sea day, which will give you more time to get to meet people. And if you're, you want to get to know people, I would say probably consider eating at Gung Bay on your first sea day.
Yeah.
So that you can get, meet people and get friends or whatever to hang out with throughout the rest of the cruise.
Gun Bay is what, a 8 to 10 seat round hibachi deal, where you're forced into sitting with other people unless your party's that big. So you'll meet people by virtue of how the restaurant's set up. Yeah. But that drinking game was fun that we did.
But you know what? And I won't necessarily say you're forced, because if I remember, they did ask us, do you mind sitting with other people or people that you don't know? So I think you do. If you don't want to sit with other people, they may sit you at a smaller table in Gun Bay if you're not interested in sitting with just strangers, basically.
Yep. So you done now?
Yeah, that's it for the restaurants. But I don't know where I was gonna go and put Gun Bay in that ranking. Ooh, so that's kind of hard. We'll just leave that one out there.
Gun Bay for me would be above Test Kitchen. Like I say, if you've ever eaten at Kobe or hibachi style place, same style food. So if you've had it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would actually put Gung Bay and Test Kitchen together. They would tie up for me. They would be a tie. Yeah.
So moving on to the ship decor. Yeah. This was my hot spot on here because we've done ships in the past, and my wife wanted to do ships, and I was like, after one ship, I was like, you know what? This thing is kind of old. So I equated Virgin. If you've ever been on other ships with the wood, the gold fixtures, glass, paneling or whatnot, it's kind of old, dated. I'll say dated. And then Virgin to me was, if you've ever looked at those car commercials where they got the houses up in the middle of the mountains, modernistic future houses. That's how I equated Virgin. It was no wood paneling unless that was the decor they were going for in a particular bar. White, clean, glass, modern stainless steel. Those are the things that I did love about Virgin. You almost forget that you were on a ship.
Yeah, I agree. I would say the thing that I think the way I see Virgin is, when I was talking about them not having photographers, that was one of the reasons why I said, if you need a photographer, fine, but if you don't, it's fine, because Virgin is very Instagram worthy.
Oh yeah.
You have that the aesthetics are so modern, and you have so many places, so many little nooks and crannies and they all look different. So you can, with today, everybody having, their iPhones or their Androids or whatever phone you have, and all of the features on your phone, you don't need a photographer. You can have a small tripod or a friend to take your pictures anywhere you want on that cruise ship, and they can be just as good as a photographer taking them on the traditional cruises.
Yep.
And you don't have to pay for it.
They were intentional.
To me, I like it.
They were intentional with the design of the ship, and looking at the newer age people that want to get on the ship, the content creators, they design these ships with a certain type of clientele in mind, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't have to be young. You can just be young at heart, or you can just be, very into every technology, into everything. And even if you're not, pretty much everybody knows how to snap a picture on the phone.
Yep.
So I think that's what they had in mind. Cutting costs in other ways out of your pocket, where you get more bang for your buck in other areas.
You mentioned whether you're young at heart. That was one thing that I will say I loved about the ship, because of the swing sets, the adult life-size games, the arcade, different things like that.
Oh, yeah.
You had a lot of people on the ship that were you know, I saw sisters out and they, you know, jump rope together, or they get on the seesaw together. There was a boxing ring on the ship. There were all kind of things that you would think of that would be for kids, but they were on a ship that has no kids on it. So a lot of the adults were like, "Oh my goodness, I can't wait till we do this." And you saw us play dodgeball on the first video, so it was definitely fun.
Yeah. They had a lot of things like that in mind, or with the activities. Also, there was something else we did that I was thinking about. I was like, well, the dodgeball. You mentioned the dodgeball. So those are games that take you back to when you actually were a kid. So they let you feel okay to be a kid again. You know, be a kid at heart.
Yep.
For instance, in the arcade, we sat down playing Pac-Man and Centipede and all the no. Anyway,
I got receipts.
there was so many nostalgic things on this. Even though the ship was modern, you still had that nostalgic time where you knew where you were as a teenager or a young kid, or things just, you know, getting started in your life, young adulthood, college, whatever. It took you back to those moments.
And you didn't have to use quarters in the arcade.
And it was all included in the cruise. So that is one of the reasons why we say, for us, this cruise line, I'm going to say, because they have more than one ship out now. So this cruise line to us is like an all-inclusive resort on the water. It truly is like an all-inclusive resort on the water, because once you pay your ticket fee, unless you're getting a bar tab, and there may be a few other upcharges in a few things, but other than that, you get on this ship and you can have a blast and not really spend a dime out of pocket once you pay for your cruise.
Yep, and book everything the day you get on the ship, all the restaurants.
Yes. That was one of the other helpful tips that I didn't mention that the Rich and Jazz told us, was when we get on, to go ahead and book our activities. And I don't know if you saw it in the video. I think we did put that in there. As soon as we got on and went to the concierge right there in the middle, no one was really going over there, and we went there. And they were like, "Oh, what do you want to do?" So, okay, what night do you want dinner? What night do you want to do this? They have this show going on at this time, and they booked everything for us as soon as we got on the ship.
And they were very helpful.
Yeah.
So another thing that we didn't put in our notes, which I thought was cool on this ship, the way the staff talked to you.
Yes.
They gave you their experiences. A lot of them gave you their life stories. If you saw our food review or our food video, you saw us talk to Sabrina with the tattoo that she had designed in Brazil. She invited us to Brazil to come visit her family, told us when to come, when not to come, that we needed to come to Carnival at least once in our lifetimes. So everyone talked like that. Somebody learned how to play blackjack because of the dealer at the casino.
Yes.
We truly enjoyed the casino.
And somebody got their own personal dealer in the casino that told them when to come back to the casino so they could show them when to play and when not to play.
No, you don't say all that now. But the casino was good on Virgin. I will say that much.
Yeah, it's not a huge casino, but everything is designed to give you that kind of a personal feeling, one-on-one, not necessarily one-on-one, but small enough to where you can enjoy everything and not feel like you're being rushed or anything. So that was our experience. So
back to the staff. This was the first time that I've been on a cruise where I saw the staff at the ports, not designed up in, you know, regalia from the area or anything, but they were actually in the port shopping. They were in the ports talking to family members that they had in the ports. Sabrina with the tattoo, we actually saw her as Lavecchia went and got a massage. She was out talking to a lady, which was, I think, her aunt when we got to Costa Maya. So we saw them. And when I talked to a lot of the staff, they were saying how they loved working for Virgin. They worked on multiple cruise ships, and Virgin was by far their favorite. I don't know if that was because they were on Virgin at the time or not, but that was their comment to us.
Yeah, we heard that a lot, that they felt like their pay was comparable and they were actually treated well. So, and I think because of that, that permeated through our experience, because they made us feel welcome. They interacted a lot with you. They weren't just, even they weren't just doing things or ignoring you or rushing you in. They were very interactive, very personable. If you saw them in one restaurant, in which we did, I think we saw Fluffy, that was from Test Kitchen, in another restaurant, and she, was like, "Hey, did you get everything you need? Did
Yeah.
they, they were just they remembered you from the other restaurant, and they made sure you had everything you needed."
Yeah, it was different because I know I've been on cruises where the room valet knew your name every time you walked around the corridor to your room, but between the dealers at the tables, the staff at the restaurants, no matter what they were, seemed like they knew you on the cruise, which was different.
Yeah. So,
anything else about the staff or anything?
No, I think that's about it for me.
So I did want to get into one of the burning questions.
Hot topics. Here we go.
Hot topics.
Rapid fire.
Things that people have asked because they've never heard of Virgin before. There are no kids on board. I've had people ask me, is this a swingers cruise or whatever?
Or they just assume that it's a swingers cruise.
Assume there was nothing but Sodom and Gomorrah going on board. Debauchery. None of that stuff was just open or out if it did happen. And I did see I did see people that were, it was definitely an all-inclusive group of people.
Yeah.
But I will say that on a very family-friendly cruise line, I've seen personally the whole lifestyle. So just to put that out there, but
I mean, I think for the most part on cruise lines in general, I don't think anything is necessarily as taboo as people make it for Virgin Voyages. I think it's across all cruise lines. But yeah, Virgin has gotten that stigma, but for us, it was just adults having a great time, enjoying themselves. Nobody came into our area or our personal space. No one approached us like that.
And if people bought us drinks, it was like, "Hey, dude, here's a drink while I'm buying drinks or whatever."
And we were sitting, because we did meet a couple that we were sitting talking to, and they did say that they were approached. And we just kind of laughed it off like, "Oh, wow. Okay, well."
Was that our favorite couple? Yeah. Judge Casey and Sabrina. They were the coolest people in the world.
Yeah. So we met them, and we were talked to them quite a bit. And, they told us about, that it caught them off guard and they weren't sure, what was going on. And then it just kind of like the light bulb went off and they removed themselves from the situation. So we were like, yeah, I'm sure it's around. But that wasn't our experience. We didn't have that. And so we just had a great time. So for all of those that are worried about it being a swingers cruise, people swing wherever they want. And for us, our sentiment is this is a no judgment zone. Adults can be adults wherever they want. To each his own.
Yeah, but I thoroughly enjoyed Virgin. I said that Virgin almost had me to a point where I didn't want to cruise on another cruise line after that experience.
Oh, yeah. It's hard not to compare any other cruise line to once you cruise Virgin and it's hard not to compare them when you're going on another cruise line. It's really hard.
I wrote down some notes on here. I liked it because when we got on the cruise, it wasn't at 100% full capacity. So that was one good thing. So I said the timing on that.
Yeah.
I've had people with snooty attitudes and just people that stuck in what they know. Because I've learned from doing the stuff we do on YouTube, you got people that have comments but have never experienced the stuff that they're commenting on, different things like that. And people that just aren't willing to try new things. This may not be the cruise for you. For them. For you to decide. But I've met people from all walks of life, like I said, a judge, retirees, people just starting out in their profession, working class people just like us. I met everybody on this cruise. So
the other lady that we met, that the retiree, or her sister and her
Yeah,
brother-in-law, they her, what was it, someone, they had like their whole family on the cruise, like
yeah.
brother-in-law, sister-in-law, cousin. Yeah, they were all there as a family together. So I think the final thing that we want to get into, and the final topic that I would say, or not necessarily a topic, the big question that everyone asks a lot, that we got in our comments a lot, is who is this cruise for? Is this cruise for everyone?
Yep. I've actually got a coworker on the cruise right now.
Yeah, yeah.
I've got three other people that have booked because of our verbal talk about
Mm-hmm.
Virgin.
Yeah.
So I know of at least 5 people that have gone on
Mm-hmm.
Virgin
Yeah.
since we've talked about it so much.
Yeah. And I'm going to circle back to customer service. Something else we talked that happened within. We did mention it in one of our videos with the couple that we met. So they talked about it, but I want to go back and actually, this is why we are probably going to cruise Virgin every year, at least once a year, if we can. Because we actually booked another cruise with Virgin while we were on that cruise. And we actually booked for the Resilient Lady, which was going to be their third ship to come out this year. That cruise ship did not come to America. I think it may be in Europe, but it didn't get released on time, and it didn't make it over here when we were supposed to go on it. So because it did not come on time, and we didn't, and that cruise got canceled for us.
Yep.
We were given. Do you want me to say how much?
You can tell me.
Yeah. Okay. So this is just a testament to their customer service. We had only put our deposit down on that cruise when we were on there. We were given a 200% credit towards a future cruise.
Per person, wasn't it?
No, the 200% credit was for the cruise, which we were also, because we sailed during the inaugural season and we're Sea Blazers, we were also given a complimentary cruise.
Yep.
This year. We didn't get to take the complimentary cruise because of our work schedules. But because all of that's just to give you an idea of what their customer service is like.
Yeah, it's definitely, like I said, they got my I don't even know the word that I'm trying to say.
Loyalty?
Yeah, they've got my loyalty based on the way we were treated,
Yeah.
what we saw, how we enjoyed ourselves. It was just well thought out. One thing that I want to tell everybody, when we talked about making sure you follow those apps, there were several things on there which had my wife not been in touch with the travel agent, watched 1 or 2 videos that were out at the time. Simple things like the pajama party the first night. A lot of people are like, where's this pajama party? It's like, it was last night. And how did you know about it? Because you had to know someone or follow the app. Mm-hmm. So it's, make sure if you go on Virgin, and probably with any cruise line, make sure you do your check-in as early as possible. Start reading what comes in once you get checked in. So there were a couple of things. The themed nights, people didn't know. All they knew was the Scarlet Night, which everyone dressed in the red color. So there were a couple of things on that cruise. But back to what you were saying, as far as if this is the cruise for you, I think it's up to you to determine whether you want to go on Virgin, just like if you want to go on any other cruise line, or even if you want to go on a cruise altogether. Before, like I said, I was one of the people that wanted to go and fully experience the location, skip it on the cruise, just fly straight to the location and stay there the entire time. But Virgin, it was a vibe that I really enjoyed. So I would do it again. Yeah.
And I think at this point, because like we said before, we cruised on Virgin during the inaugural season. At this point, there are so many videos out there. There's so much information that's available, good and bad, so that can help you to make a decision on if this cruise is right for you. That's not for us to decide. Yep. I think you can decide that on your own just by doing your research and finding out if it's for you.
Anything else you want to cover on here?
I think that is about it.
All right. Well, we thank you for joining us. Again, if you have not subscribed to our channel, please go on and subscribe to it. Like this video.
And leave us some comments below to let us know what you think about everything we said in our review. Or if you still have questions, leave us a comment below and we can answer those questions for you as well.
And share this video out with your friends, family, everyone that you're friends with.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.